Hi everybody, it's Ethy, and today we're going to be talking about physics. But before we dig into that subject, you guys will often hear us say that we need information that's in the statistics bar. But not everybody knows how to turn that on. And as of 2.9, it is not on by default. So, the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to come down here to my bottom toolbar. I'm going to click the box here for Blender version. As you can see, I'm using Blender 3.0.1. That is currently the latest stable release. And then we're going to click on Foreseen Statistics, which gives us all of our stuff as far as vertices, faces, tries, the number of objects selected. Now, as most of you should already know, physics is what allows us to interact with SL. It's what makes the difference between us being able to stand on an object versus standing way above an object. What allows us to get close to something versus being blocked. In the old days of SL, when all we had were primitives and then later sculpties, the physics for the sculpties was the bounding box. It didn't matter how big the sculptie was. Whatever size you made the bounding box was what size your physics was. Which is why if you run across any of the old sculpty bridges or stuff like that, you will find that there is an invisible prim there that you're actually walking on. Now, I've already mentioned bounding box, and you will often hear us tell you that the bounding box for the physics mesh must match the bounding box for the mesh. If you don't know how to find that, don't worry, I'm going to show you. Okay, you come here to your Object Properties tab, and you scroll down here to Viewport Display. And this one right here, Bounds. You check that box, and as you can see, it has put a invisible box around the item. That is the bounding box. The bounding box is the smallest size that your mesh can fit into. I mean, yes, there are some ways to do offsets for like doors and things like that. But you're still actually then doing that with your mesh, so it's still enclosing your mesh. Again, back in the old days of the sculpties, we could offset our bounding boxes without doing that. So, now I've shown you that. The first thing I'm going to do is show you why you need to have the bounding boxes match. Now, I've already made a simple physics that doesn't match, so I'm going to... Okay, so I'm in SL now. I'm going to come through here. I'm going to show you the non-matching mesh that I made, physics mesh, was just across the seat and down the front. I didn't do anything else, but I wanted you to see how SL will stretch if they don't match. So oops, I don't even need the LODs for this because I'm not fully uploading it. Now, as I said, I'd had this across the seats down here, but because my bounding boxes then did not match, SL stretched the physics mesh bounding box, so it did match, which in turn stretched the physics mesh. If I were to upload that, it would be no better than if I'd used a cube. So we're not going to actually upload that one. And in the next video, we'll go over how to make the actual physics mesh and how to keep it simple. So I will see you guys then.